All right, lesson 25, multiplying fractions and reducing fractions by dividing by common factors. So, what fraction is 1/2 of 3/4? So first of all, in math, of means multiply. All right, of, this word right here, means multiply. So we're going to do 1/2 of 3/4. And when we multiply the top to the top and the bottom to the bottom. So I multiply straight across. 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 4 is 8. As long as this does not reduce, you're done. Now I have 3/4 times 2/3. So we can multiply the top times the top, which is 6, and we can multiply the bottom times the bottom, 4 times 3, which is 12. Now, does this reduce? Yes. And the biggest number that goes into 6 and 12 is 6. You don't have to show this step. I'm just writing it out, all right? So I can divide this by 6, which is 1, and I can divide the denominator by 6, which is 2. And so we get 1/2. Now, is there a faster way to do this one? Yes, you can pre-reduce. You can reduce these earlier, all right? Notice the 3 and 3. As long as you have a number that's reducible with another number on the top and the bottom, you can reduce early. So 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 3 one time. Then we can also cross cancel these right here, 2 and 4. 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 4 two times. Now I can multiply 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 1 is 2, and we get the same answer. Let's try another one. 1/4 of 2/3. So of means multiply. And I like to check, does anything cross cancel? And yes, I have that 2 and 4 again, right? So I divide this by 2, which is 1, and I divide this by 2, which is 2. Again, 2 and 4 are both divisible by 2. So I divide them by 2. Now I'm going to multiply top to top is 1, and bottom to bottom is 6. Now, if you went ahead and you just multiplied these without pre-reducing, you would get 2/12, which then reduces to 1/6. 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 12 6 times. All right, what if you have a whole number, 4 times 2/3? First, you want to put this whole number over 1. There's an invisible 1 you don't see on the bottom of every whole number, all right? Then I multiply straight across. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3. Notice the number in the numerator is bigger than the number in the denominator. I need to divide this, and eventually you could do these in your head, right? But 3 goes into 8 two times. That's the whole number. 3 goes into this twice. All right, and then you would subtract 2 times 3, which is 6. That gives you a remainder of 2, but we don't write it as a remainder. We write it as a fraction. We have 2 divided by 3. Whatever you divided by goes on the bottom. So we will make this a mixed number if the numerator is bigger than the denominator. 3 pennies are placed side by side as shown below. The diameter of 1 penny is 3/4 inch. How long is the row of pennies? You could add 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, but they're trying to get you to multiply. There are 3 of these, so I can do 3 times 3/4. And then 3 is a whole number, so I'm going to put it over 1, and I'm going to multiply straight across. 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 times 4 is 4. Again, this number is bigger than the denominator. How many times does 4 go into 9? 2 times, right? Because 4 times 2 is 8, and then you would subtract 8 in your head. 9 minus 8 is 1. That's what's left over, and you have that 4 still in the bottom. Now, if you can't do that in your head, then you got to work it out like this, right? 4 goes into 9 twice, subtract the 8, you get a remainder of 1, and you put it over what you divided by. All right, reduce. Just a review on reducing fractions. Both these numbers here are divisible by 4. They're also divisible by 2, but 4 is the biggest number that divides evenly into the numerator and the denominator. So I do 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. And that's my final answer. All right, let's try another one. Put this over 1. We can cross cancel these two numbers here. If you want to reduce early, 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 12 6 times. Now we're going to multiply straight across. 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 6 is 6. Same thing here, put this over 1. Nothing cross cancels, so I multiply top to top, which is 8, and bottom to bottom, which is 3. Now, this does reduce. We actually can just make it mixed because 3 goes into 8 2 times. And 2 times 3 is 6, so you're going to subtract that 6. So you have a remainder of 2, and you put it over what you divided by, 2 2/3. Or, again, show that division, 8 divided by 3. All right, let's try reducing this one. 2 goes into each of these numbers here. So I'm going to divide 6 by 2, which is 3. And I'm going to divide 10 by 2, which is 5. And I get 3/5. There were 8 boys and 12 girls in the class. What is the ratio of boys to girls? So I want to see that you're doing boys to girls. There are 8 boys, so that goes on the numerator. And there are 12 girls, so that has to go in the denominator. And I do want you to reduce. Again, 4 is the biggest number that goes into 8, and 4 goes into 8 twice. And 4 is the biggest number that goes into 12, and that goes in 3 times. All right, let's try some whiteboards.